Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is some more footage taken from the public beta environment for set 7.5. So this is from the PBE. This is taken, I think, the third day of the PBE. And in this game, we're going to be looking at a different team composition from the one I showed in my first PBE video. We are going to be looking at a team composition that plays into vertical guild traits. So this was something that I wanted to test out because it looked like it was fairly strong on the PBE from some of the other games that I'd seen. And so we're going to be seeing how some of the changes to the guild trait have worked and do our best to build a team composition around that. One of the fun things about the PBE is you get to use some of the various features that normally cost Riot points, like these stages that they created back in set 2. And I've always enjoyed getting the chance to play around with these periodically on the PBE, but no, I am not going to pay like $20 to buy these on the main client. But this is like one of the Freljord backgrounds or something like that. I think this is the one that's associated with Lysandra. It's still one of the coolest stages that they've ever created for Teamfight Tactics. All right, anyway, so the guild trait, of course, is still around from the first half of the set, has been a popular trait to play throughout the set, particularly in the first parts of set 7. You had people playing into Xayah plus Guild, and that was like the strongest team composition for roughly the first month or so of the set. And then Xayah ate a whole bunch of nerfs and didn't really come back into the meta at all in the later halves of the set. But that's kind of the setup that was around there, that you would take Xayah and you'd play a whole bunch of other guild units around her. Like you'd play Sejuani and you'd play Twitch, and you would play into kind of the Ragewing trait by adding like you would add like Shen and Hecarim, and then you'd kind of have like this guild plus Ragewing kind of team composition. So I'm going to be trying to duplicate that, but doing so here in the mid-set update in set 7.5 instead of in set 7. And one of the biggest changes there is that there is now a dragon that has the guild traits, and that is Zippy. So I'm going to try to play into Zippy in this game. As far as what I've got right now, I haven't really done anything too crazy. For my first augment, I'm going to take Weak Spot. Good old Weak Spot. Allows me to get a healing cut just from my auto attacks and ignore some armor. And then I will not have to try to get like a Sunfire Cape for my team composition. I'll just have natural anti-heal. So I just am kind of playing standard stuff right now. I've got Guardians for frontline. Nasus is a Guardian. Shimmer Scale plus Guardian. Zac is also a Guardian. Lagoon plus Guardian. For my backline, I want to try to play into Swift Shots. I would like to find someone who can be an item holder for a future Xayah. And right now, that's going to be the Senna back there. But I don't really want to play into Cannoneer trait because Cannoneer doesn't particularly synergize with what I'm trying to go for here. Right now, I'm, of course, going around looking at what the other people are playing here in these lobbies. One of the things I've noticed, I mentioned this on our local TFT Discord, it feels as though these games on the PBE are very inconsistent in terms of their difficulty. Some of these games are like monstrously difficult, and then other ones you get games that are kind of easy, and it's just hard to predict what it's going to be. More of my games feel like they've kind of been falling into like the monstrously difficult category. It's hard to know because you can't really like go and look up the games on some of the websites that track that kind of stuff, like LolChess and Tactics.tools. You can't really go and look them up because they pull data from the live client, not from the PBE server. But when I've taken the time to like look up the names one at a time, very frequently it's like most of the people in these games are masters or grandmasters on the current set. And like that does make sense why that would be the case, because who is going to be on the PBE environment before the set starts? It's going to be people who are like really, really into Teamfight Tactics, and that's going to typically be people who play a lot of games and people who are very good. So I feel as though a lot of these games oftentimes just roll into like a lobby full of people in Masters who are just spamming the living daylights out of PBE because they are really into the game and they want to just try out the new set and play like, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 games before the new set starts. So sometimes I get that. This game, I do not think that was the case. This one turned out to be a bit on the easier side. Anyway, so as far as what I did right there, I had the 2-star Senna. I went ahead and sold in favor of Varus, just because Varus puts the Swift Shot trait in play. I do think that that weakened my board a little bit. I think 2-star Senna is a little bit better than 1-star Varus. Generally speaking, like a 2-star 1 cost has the power level that's a little bit higher than a 1-star 3 cost. It's generally how that works out. But Varus does also put the Swift Shot trait in play. So I don't know. It probably is slightly weaker than having 2-star Senna. Then I also am able to sell the 2 Rels on my bench to get up to 10 gold, which I'm quite happy with. If you're wondering why I'm holding some of these units on my bench, I'm holding the Sejuani because Sedge will definitely be in my comp. Remember, I'm trying to play into Guild. I'm kind of trying to force that here in this setup because I want to try to just see how like viable this is. And since you're going to be playing Sejuani, if you're going to be playing Vertical Guild, then you're probably also going to want other Cavaliers. So that's why I grabbed Rel. But because I didn't hit any 2-star Cavaliers, I decided I wasn't going to play Cavalier frontline. I'll just play Guardian frontline for the time being, because that's what I actually hit. I hit the 2-star Nasus, and you need to play through what units you actually hit, even if you're trying to force a comp. It's usually better to do that to some extent. Note that I'm also quite wealthy. I got the 2-item start instead of the normal 3-item start, so that meant that I had more gold than usual. It does mean I'm playing with only 1 item because I don't really want to make a Last Whisper here. I would prefer to make Rageblade because Rageblade is really, really good on Swift Shot champions. It's probably the most core item for Swift Shot champions. Both Varus and Xayah really, really, really want a Rageblade, so I'm hoping I can make something with that and not have to make the Last Whisper. But we'll see. I do have this extra glove on my bench. I'm also last pick because I've won every round. No one else has won all 3 rounds to start, so that's great. No one else is on a win streak. And it does mean I'm going to be last pick. So I would ideally like to do something with this glove so it's not just sitting on my bench, because I have so few items on this start. I really want to make use of the items I do have. So I wouldn't mind, I wouldn't have minded taking the rod to get a Rageblade, but it's not there. And since I want to make use of this glove, I'm going to take the sword, and that'll allow me to make an Infinity Edge, and then I still have the opportunity to maybe make a Rageblade with my other, make a Rageblade maybe with that bow. I also got it on a 3 gold Nunu, which is great. Anytime you can put something on like a 3 gold champ, that's always very, very nice. So I was able to make use of all my items, and I also got a 3 gold champion to sell, which was great. I might have even played the Nunu, but can't play the Nunu not with me needing to sell to get the sword off. So because I'm using all of my items, even though I have a 2-item start instead of a 3-item start, I'm using all of them, so I have the same effective power as like someone who has items sitting on the bench. All right, so this time I'm up against someone who is playing into Namzi. Namzi no longer someone who comes out of a trait. Namzi is just a standard dragon now. Namzi's a 6-cost dragon, so effectively at the 3-cost tier. And Namzi is an AP dragon who fires out little explosive blasts. Namzi does quite a bit of damage, particularly in the mid-game. Does fall off in the late game, as you'd expect for something that's at effectively the 3-cost tier. Targeting can be a little wonky, though. Namzi they actually just reworked this on the PBE. Namzi shoots out little fire explosions. But the issue with that is that Namzi's blasts don't always have the best targeting. They've trying to fix this. In particular, if your units are spread out, which was the case at the end of that last fight, then it's the case that sometimes Namzi will just kind of cast in the middle of nowhere or hit like 1 unit. So, as I said, not always the most reliable targeting. Now that I've won the first 4 rounds, I would really, really, really like to win this last round. So I was looking at the other teams and scouting them. There is an AFK player, so I would love to hit them. But no, I don't hit the AFK player. And unfortunately, I've now moved Varus into a line with this person's Lux on the other team. I was scouting them, and they had the Lux on their right-hand side. So I swapped Varus over to the right-hand side, and then they swapped their Lux at the last second, which is unfortunate. So Lux fires out kind of a straight line attack. It's basically her Q from normal League of Legends, her light binding. And so you want to be on the other side from her if you're positioning. Now, Varus walks past one of those Lux attacks, but then gets hit by the second one. And I was like, oh, Twitch, do you have this? It's like, no, Twitch does not have this. So that's pretty sad that after winning the first 4 rounds in a row, I lose the second one. And I'm trying to sell my Leonas to get up to 30 gold. I don't know if I actually managed to hit that there. So that was disappointing. But look who I have in my shop. I have a Zippy in my shop, so that's a plus. And Zippy is the unit I'm trying to play into because Zippy is the guild dragon. And like all dragons, Zippy provides 3 ranks of 1 trait, and so for Zippy, that is the guild trait. The model that they're using for this is really pretty funny. It's the mount that Kled has in normal League of Legends. I don't know what the name of that mount is. I know it has a formal name, but it's basically Kled without Kled the Rider on it, which I find to be pretty hilarious. All right, so what are we going to get out of this minion round? I would not mind some frontline items, but instead I'm going to go ahead and get a tier, which I don't really have much use for. And then another glove, and then another bow. It was like, oh, okay. So I was like, well, how do I make use of these items? Well, I do want to use these items. And by the way, I hit the 2-star Varus, which is really big, and that's going to power me through stage 3. So that's the high roll from this game, is hitting the early Zippy here. I hit the Zippy at 20% odds. So not crazy. But I hit the early Zippy, and then I also hit the Varus, 2-star. So that, as I said, that's going to power me through the mid-game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make the Last Whisper, Infinity Edge Last Whisper. I normally would not look to make that combo, but I think that it's worthwhile making since I already had the Infinity Edge and because I had the items for it. And then with the other 2 items, I was like, why don't I go ahead and make Static Shiv? I don't think this is one of Zippy's best items, but I don't think it'll be terrible on Zippy. And I want to make use of these items. I really have nothing else to do with the tier. So you know what? Why not? It'll debuff the magic resistance of the enemy team. I already have a weak spot as my augment, so that's going to debuff armor. So now I have an armor shred and a magic resist shred on my team. That feels pretty decent right there. Past me is also highlighting some of the guild bonuses, so I will talk about that in a second, right after we see what this augment choice is going to be. And as it turns out, it's a prismatic augment, and I was like, oh, let's go ahead and take new recruit. Now, I could also play level up, but I actually just spent a fair amount of gold leveling to level 6 early, so I'm going to go ahead and just look to play into, I'm just going to go ahead and look to grab the +1 team recruit, because that's always going to have value. All right, so what does Zippy do? Zippy is the new dragon. Well, I'm going to go ahead and read the cheat sheet description of Zippy. I already mentioned Zippy's the guild dragon, so it gives you 3 ranks of the guild trait. And Zippy's guild bonus is that he provides 10 armor and 10 magic resist. Actually, they may have nerfed that since this, but provides armor and magic resist. Remember, the numbers are going to change, so that's like whatever. So Zippy is armor and magic resist, Twitch is attack speed, and Sejuani is health. So Sejuani and Twitch are unaffected from before. But I do have 5 ranks of the guild trait because I have Sedge for 1, Twitch for 1, and Zippy for 3. Right now in the PBE, 5 ranks of guild is 180% of the guild bonus. So instead of Twitch providing 10% attack speed, Twitch is providing 18% attack speed. That's a pretty big benefit. And of course, that benefit gets doubled for guild units. So Twitch is getting not 18% attack speed, Twitch is getting 36% attack speed as a guild unit. So that one's going to work pretty well. And I, of course, got a free win there because I hit the AFK player who quit the lobby. I wish I had gotten that at the end of the stage, but I guess I'll take it. A free win is a free win. I'll always take that. All right, so then what does Zippy's actual ability do, leaving aside the guild benefit? Well, Zippy basically runs around the arena and just like bumps into people. It's actually pretty funny. The ability is called Somersault Assault. Somersault Assault. Little alliteration there for you. Zippy shields himself for 2 seconds, somersaults towards the highest percent enemy health, dealing physical damage and knocking them back slightly. So physical damage, not magic damage. That's why Static Shift, not one of Zippy's best items, but I have it on him here. So basically runs around and somersaults into people. When Zippy hits someone, he gets a shield and then deals a percentage of his attack damage and knocks them back slightly. So the shield numbers listed here are 300, 400, 550. Again, expect that to change. Percent of attack damage, 275, 325, 400%. So Zippy just basically causes chaos, runs around the arena, somersaults into the person who has the highest percentage of max HP, and that's kind of noteworthy because Zippy does not really kill units. Like, Zippy is not going to finish off units in your team composition. He basically has Heimerdinger's targeting from set 7. Heimerdinger liked to target whoever had the highest percentage of health on the enemy team, and Zippy does the same thing. Going to go after whoever has the highest health on the enemy board. So Zippy is not going to finish units off, but he's like a great utility and disruptive unit because he's going to provide that extra armor and magic resistance to your team, and he's also going to like run around knocking people back. So what I've seen from people playing Zippy is his itemization tends to be stuff that's like standard tanky plus AP. So, you know, if you would want things like well, like Bloodthirster is good on him because he's a melee unit that scales off of max AD. His ability does do a percentage of max AD, so like Bloodthirster is good. Also gives him the shield. Titan's Resolve is very good because he's going to be taking a lot of hits as he runs around. Interestingly, Quicksilver Sash, decent, but doesn't seem to be that great on him because he switches his targeting so often he doesn't really get stuck on tanks. That makes Quicksilver Sash a little bit less useful. Hurricane also nice because Hurricane allows him to deal damage not to just the highest percentage AP target. It means that he'll be hitting the highest health target, but then the Hurricane bolts will bounce off and hit like low damage targets. So that seems to be pretty good. But like you get the idea, tanky melee plus AD seems to be pretty good stuff on him. I don't think that the Static Shiv is his most amazing item, but I don't think it's terrible here, and it was what I have. So as always, don't just be like so locked into best in slot items that you only make best in slot items. Be willing to be flexible based on what you're hitting. I had the extra bow, I had the extra tier, so we'll go with that. All right, now I'm going to get my first Xayah here. So I'll just hold Xayah on the bench for now. I am, of course, going to play a 2-star Varus over a 1-star Xayah, but ideally these items are going to go onto Xayah eventually. I also find myself in the same position that I was in at the end of Stage 2. Remember, I was on a win streak at the end. I win streaked all of Stage 2, and then I lost the very last round, and that interrupted my win streak. And by the way, if I had won that round, I would have been on a 9-match winning streak right now. I would be so much richer. So here we are. It's the end of Stage 3. I've won every single round once again. Now it's like, can I win streak through and into the minion stage as well? So it's actually, again, super important that I win this. I'm also up against the other win-streaking player. So this person has level up augment. They're already level 7, which makes sense. They should be 1 level up over the rest of the field if they're playing level up augment. I did have the chance to try to level 7 here, and oh, this fight is so close. Oh, it's really, really close. I'm just hoping that that Namzi won't finish off Varus. Varus, finish off the Nunu. There we go. The Nunu was on like 1% health forever, and oh, it's down to just Twitch. Come on, Twitch. Come on, Twitch. Come on. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Heimer's on 10 HP. Oh, man. Are you kidding me? 10 HP? That... Oh, wow. That, you know, Heimer, the only unit left, is at like 10 out of 800 HP. And that's so important because that person now is going to continue their win streak. Meanwhile, my win streak is interrupted. So that actually costs a tremendous amount of gold to have that happen. Of course, it's not all bad news. I do hit the Zippy 2-star, and this is me hitting Zippy 2-star very quickly. Like, I did not have to roll at all. I just naturaled my way into Zippy 2-star, who was the unit that I was playing. Who was like the featured unit I was planning to play into. And then I'm also able to get another Xayah, which is really nice as well. So, of course, I want to level up here. I can go ahead and put in the Leona if I want to. So we definitely want to level to 7 here. And then I'm going to put in the Xayah. And then I was like, wait a minute. Well, I can play the Leona for a pair of 2-star Guardian frontline. So I was like, wait a minute. I think that what I want to do is I think I want to put the Rakan in here because Rakan is going to give me... going to keep Guardian trait, but also give me Rage Wing. I think I realized that on one of these rounds here. So yeah, it's actually better to take out... It's probably better to keep Leona and then take out Nasus, because Nasus is not as good of a tank as Leona. Probably should look to do that and replace the Nasus with Rakan. That, as I said, that'll maintain Guardian trait, and then that would get a Rage Wing in for Xayah, which is now something that you get on 2. Rage Wing's now a 2, 4, 6, 8 trait, instead of being the, what is it? It was before it was 3, 6, 9. So they've made it easier to get Rage Wing in as a 2-unit splash. All right, one thing I did mention is my economy is not as good as you would think, considering I've won all these rounds. Oh, by the way, we'll come back to that. Guild Crown. I'm going to get the Guild Emblem here, which is just amazing. So this is exactly what I want. It's also going to make Twitch 2-star, which is pretty amazing. And then I get a Jace in my store as well, who's the other guild unit. So I 100% want to put this Guild Emblem on somebody here. And then I also definitely want to get Jace into the board as well, because I can get up to 7 guild here, and then all I need to do is find Bard to get up to 8 guild, which is the maximum that you can get. I'm like trying to think this through right now and figure out like how am I going to do this. So I definitely want to put Jace in. Something comes out. I think that should be Xayah for the time being until I can 2-star Xayah. So we're going to put Jace in, play Jace as a frontliner, and then I need to put the guild emblem on somebody. I was like, Who does not already have the guild trait? Well, Varus doesn't have it, but Varus is someone who is going to come. He's already fully itemized, so I can't put that on him. And then we've got this item, Protector's Vow. This is the remade version of Frozen Heart. So this is the tier plus chain vest item, and they've revamped this so it no longer is an attack speed slow. It now provides a shield when units get when the units drop to 50% HP. It now provides a shield on the unit themselves and on surrounding units. It also gives them additional armor and magic resistance for the rest of combat. So it's basically just a pure tank item now. It is not something that you're going to put on assassins and have them jump into the back lines. That was always kind of a toxic interaction. And so that is no longer the case. Also noteworthy there, I beat the Cursed Crown player. So yeah, that person had Cursed Crown, and I actually just beat them in a round. So they got +2 units via that augment. Cursed Crown gives you +2 units at the cost of you take double damage when you're hit by when you lose a round of combat. But yeah, now I'm up to 7 guild here right now. I have the guild emblem, which still provides Omnivamp to the team, just as it did before. So this is also quite good because I have not itemized any lifesteal or any healing on my team. Like, note that I don't have any, I don't have like a Bloodthirst, I don't have the Hand of Justice, I have no healing, so the Omnivamp's going to be really, really good. It's going to allow everyone on their team to heal off of some of the damage that they're dealing. By the way, this person's running 6 Scale Scorn, so their team comp looks pretty strong. I'm hoping that Leona can hold up long enough here. I was like, Zippy, you got me here? It's like, Zippy's like, nope, I do not have you here. So I'm going to lose that round, and that person has spiked really, really hard off of a 3-star Yone and off of having 6 Scale Scorn. They got a Scale Scorn augment for their Silver augment, and then they got Scale Scorn again on their Prismatic augment. So have +2 Scale Scorn, which is, again, normally you can't get to 6 Scale Scorn, but they've got it. They got it from 2 augments, so they're going to be quite strong with that. All right, so what am I looking for right now? Well, I still have no frontline items, so it would not be terrible to take frontline items, but I'm actually still trying to itemize my carries here. You might notice I went ahead and made the Hurricane. And the Hurricane is something that I actually plan on transferring over to Zippy later. I mentioned before, I think that the Hurricane is one of Zippy's better items because it allows Zippy to damage units that are not the lowest, not the highest percentage max of health. So Zippy's not going to be, he'll still charge to the units that are the highest HP, but he will then allow the bolts will then kind of reflect over onto other units that are actually lower HP. So I'm going to grab this bow, and I'm still hoping I can make a Rage Blade for Xayah. So the logic is, let's go ahead and do this transition now. Move the Hurricane over to Zippy, put the Infinity Edge Last Whisper combo on Xayah, and we're still going to try to make a Rage Blade on her later. Also notice that there's a Zippy in my shop that I'm not buying here, and that is a mistake. By the way, also because I'm moving into Xayah, I'm going to transfer these. I'm going to put Rakan in as well, so I get Rage Wing trait in, and then someone needs to grab these. I'm going to move my tank items over to Jace. Jace is a tank, and then I need to put this guild emblem on someone. I could put it on Xayah, but I don't want Xayah to have it. So really the only other options are Rakan or Nasus. I was like, all right, Rakan, you go take this. You're a Guardian. You're providing Rakan's actually getting a lot of value here. He's providing Rage Wing and Guardian traits, so he also has Mystic trait as well. If I can find Bard, he will also give me Mystic trait as well. So anyway, Xayah is going to hold this for right now. And by the way, I'm up against another Cursed Crown player. Yeah, apparently there's 2 people with Cursed Crown. So I'm not quite able to win that, but oh well. And by the way, there is another Zippy in my shop here as well, and I believe I passed on this one as well. So this is a mistake. I should be grabbing the Zippies. They are very expensive, and that's why I wasn't grabbing them because, as I said, it does cost quite a bit of money to pick them up. They're 6 gold each. But I should be picking them up because I have a very real chance to get Zippy 3-star in this game, and that is just due to the people that are in the lobby with me. You might have noticed there's that Scale Scorn player. That Scale Scorn player is re-rolling for Olaf 3-star, Diana 3-star, and Nunu 3-star. So those are all units at the 3-cost tier. They're going to be taking a ton of 3-cost units out of the pool by trying to 3-star them. So that's going to make the odds to find a unit like Zippy much higher. And it's also very, well, not early, but we're still kind of in like the middle portion of this game. It's worthwhile to pick up extra copies of one of your main carries this early in the game. Like, we're only on 4-6. So it's worthwhile to grab these and just pick them up and hope that I might be able to see them as the rest of the game goes on. As, by the way, I knock out some player who is running Lagoon there. So it definitely would have made sense to pick up those Zippies. I could be at 5 Zippies already. So yeah, that's not ideal. All right, here I'm going to get a rod, which is great. I want a rod because I want one for Rage Blade. I was like, this has got Rage Blade. I guess I can put the other items on Jace for my frontliner. Okay. And then look at this. Then there's 2 more Zippies in the shop. So I was like, all right, game, you're clearly trying to tell me something. Let's go ahead and just continue putting these, let's go ahead and pick up the extra Zippies. Again, if the shop odds had played out the same way, which maybe they wouldn't as I take Zippies out of the shop, I could have had as many as 7 Zippies already, which definitely would have been worthwhile. I also get to play another unit, so we'll just put in Hecarim for right now. And I want to roll a little bit. I'm really looking for 2-star Xayah. By the way, there's another Zippy, so okay. I'll pick that up. I also probably should have picked up the Seraphine over the Hecarim because that would have given me Mystic trait. Then I see a Soraka. I was like, all right, well, Soraka's going to be better. But then, oh, the Bard. I find the Bard at 4% odds. I was like, well, think we're good now. I just really want to find one more Xayah. If I can find Xayah 2-star, I'll be stable to just push 9 off of this. So that's why I'm rolling here. There is a Yasuo, but I can't really fit that into my board. And I rolled this all the way down to 0 gold. But I was like, oh, well, there's a Xayah. So I'll go ahead and pick that up. Now I'm very stable, and now I'm going to look to push 9. I wish I had not had to roll so much for Xayah there, but I don't think that that was bad. I was able to find 3 more Zippies. I found the Bard, and I found the 2-star Xayah. So I was very happy that I managed to hit that. I think that my board has spiked quite a bit off of this because I hit the 2-star Xayah, and I also managed to hit 8 guild. So I'm up against the Scalescorn player, and wow, I just annihilated that team. What the heck happened? Why did my team just win so easily? Well, turns out that Guild 8 gives your team an awful lot of stats. So let's go through the different stats that I'm getting here on the team. So again, Guild, I mentioned before, Sedge gives health. That's been around since before. Twitch gives attack speed. Zippy gives armor and magic resist. Jace gives AD and AP. In the previous set, we had Ryze that gave AP and Talon that gave AD. Now Jace provides both, although it is a lower amount than what you got from Talon and Ryze. Bard still provides mana per auto attack, and then the emblem gives you Omnivamp. At Guild 8, all of the benefits go up by 250%, and then they get doubled for guild units. So Sejuani does not provide 100 health, she provides 250 health. And that gets doubled on the guild units, so they get 500 health. So it's actually 5 times benefit on the guild units, which is every single unit on my board except Xayah and except Nasus, who I really need to get out of my team comp. I still have a 2-star Nasus on my board. So yeah, it's 5 times benefit. So a unit like Zippy, Zippy is of course a guild unit. Zippy's getting 500 health, 50% attack speed. Zippy's getting, I think he's getting 40 armor and 40 magic resistance. I think he gets 20 AD and 20 AP. He gets, I think, 8 mana per auto attack, and then he gets like 10% Omnivamp, something like that. So that is an awful lot of stats to be getting. By the way, there is another Zippy in the store. So he's getting just an absurd amount of stats. They're all offensive stats. Well, I guess they're not all offensive stats. I was going to say previously Guild in the first half of set 7, it was basically all offensive stats except that Sejuani provided health, which is a defensive stat. But now that you get armor and magic resistance, now you kind of get both offensive and defensive stats. So Guild 8 just provides a crazy amount of stats. It's probably a little bit overtuned right now, but to be fair, I do have every single guild unit, including Bard, who of course is difficult to find at the 5 quest tier. And I also got the guild emblem via my second prismatic augment. By the way, because there's only 3 of us in the lobby, I'm going to be hitting these 2 team comps quite a bit. So expect to see a lot of this scale scoring team composition. And I'm still just kind of shredding this team composition. I'm kind of hoping that they will not hit their Olaf and their Nuno and their Diana that they're rolling for. But yeah, I just am getting such an absurd amount of stats right now. It's really hard for the other teams to deal with it. So we'll just go to level 9. We'll play another unit. And we'll see what else we can find. Oh, actually, no, that's wrong. I'm doing this commentary, and it's been a day since I played this game. I'm trying to remember what I was thinking. So what I'm going to do is econ for the time being. And then I'm going to try to decide if it makes sense to try to roll for Zippy 3-star or if it makes more sense to go to level 9. And that's kind of what I was thinking here. Now, if I go to level 9, I do have some options. I could look to say, go to level 9, replace the Nasus with Idis. So, like, that would be a possibility. If I go to level 9, I'll get an extra slot. I could replace Nasus with Idis, who's, the Guardian Dragon. Then I would get a Shimmer Scale item. And, of course, Idis would be an infinitely better tank than having Nasus in. I could also go to level 9 and replace Nasus with Shyvana. That would give me 3 ranks of Rage Wing, and of course Shyvana's, a very good unit in and of herself. I could put any extra AP items I get on Shyvana. So I'm just going to wait and see what happens. Like, if I see, like, 2 Shyvanas in my store, then I'll probably go to level 9 and play the Shyvana and try to 2-star it. But, if I keep finding Zippies, then I'll just stay at level 8 and try to roll for a 3-star Zippy, which I do have very good odds to hit because all of those 3-cost units are out of the pool for the other players. This person looks like they're trying to go into one of the 5-cost Mage Dragons. They're actually level 10 with level up, which is kind of amusing. But they're still playing through Namzi, and that's just not really going to cut it this late in the game, unless you have like 3-star Namzi or something like that. All right, now we do have a minute here. By the way, look, that person hits 3-star Nunu. I was like, wait a minute. They have 9 Nunus. I think they have 8 Dianas, or they have like 6 or 7 Dianas. They have like 6 Olafs. It's like, that is an awful lot of 3-cost units. It's making me increasingly think that it probably makes more sense just to try to find the last 2 Zippies as opposed to trying to go to level 9 and level up. So probably, and like, what other unit would I put in? Well, I guess I could put in one of those dragons, but like, I haven't even seen Shyvana yet in this game. If I had seen Shyvana, maybe go to 9 and play Shyvana, but as I said, I have not actually found Shyvana yet, so that is less of an incentive to go to level 9. I also do want to mention that this person is running, I think there's 6 Scale Score and 5 Cavaliers, which normally is like an insanely strong combo, but I'm still beating them pretty easily. One thing that's helping me there is I have the Last Whisper for Armor Shred, and then I have the Static Shiv for Magic Resistant Shred, and that's actually really good against a team composition that's running 5 Cavaliers. Cavaliers get heavy amounts of armor and magic resistance via the Cavalier trait, but I have an Armor Shred, and I also have a Magic Resistant Shred, so my itemization is actually helping me a lot against that team too. If I didn't have the Last Whisper on Xayah, then I would actually be in some trouble, because I know they have like a Braum with a Thorn Mail, which would be really tough to cut through if I didn't have the Last Whisper. I, of course, also have Weak Spot as well, so I actually have double Armor Shred on my team, but you get a lot of armor from Cavalier trait, so it is a lot to try to work through. All right, so I decided at this point, you know what? It's going to be more fun to try to play Zippy 3-star, so I'm not going to go to level 9. I'm going to roll here. I'm also going to pick up Hecarim, so okay, we can just replace this Nasus, who definitely should not be in this team, with a Hecarim. He doesn't actually put more traits into play. And then, by the way, we're also going to hit the Jace 2-star, and that's big. And then I find another Zippy. I was like, come on, one more Zippy. Come on, one more Zippy. There's a Bard. One more Zippy, please. I'm actually going to try to pick up 3-cost units here. I'm trying to buy some of them, but there we go. There we go. 3-star Zippy. Let's go. And I also upgraded from Nasus into Hecarim, who's a much better unit. Gives me the Cavalier trait, even if only at Cavalier 2. And I hit 2-star Jace. And whoa! Did you see that? Jace just knocked up the entire enemy team frontline. So I haven't had an opportunity to talk too much about Jace yet. Let me cover how his ability functions, since he's one of the other new units here in the trait. So Jace's traits are Guild and Shapeshifter. That's also why Shyvana would be nice. It would also put Shapeshifter trait in play here. His Guild ability, as mentioned, gives you AD and AP. So it gives you attack damage and ability power to the whole team. His ability is Mercurial Justice. Jace transforms to his melee form. So he starts in range, transforms into melee form. Replaces his ability with Mercury Judgment. He then slams the ground around his target, deals magic damage, and knocks up enemies for 1.5 seconds. Mercury Judgment leaps into the air, smashes the ground, deals magic damage in a small area, gains health shield per enemy struck for 2 seconds. Jace deals magic damage. So you do itemize him with AP, not AD, but he's basically a frontline tank right now. So what he's going to do is he's going to fill up his mana bar, and when that happens, he transforms into melee form. And the first time he uses his ability, he's going to knock up units around him. After that, he does not knock up abilities, or does not knock up enemy units, but he does get a shield based on how many enemy units he hits. When this set first went out on PBE, they did not have AP scaling on his shield. They have since added AP scaling on his shield, and he's become a much stronger unit as a result. He's actually a little bit overtuned at the moment, although you do have to keep in mind I am running him with 8 guild, so yeah. I am running him with 8 guild, so you do have to keep that in mind. But he's basically a frontline tank. Put tanky AP stuff on him. Normal standard tanky stuff, Bramble Vest, Dragon's Claw, Warmogs, blah, blah, blah. All that's going to be good. And then he also uses AP as well. So I would imagine that Ionic Spark is quite good on him. And then I have like the Morellos, which is actually not bad either because he does apply Morellos pretty well. He does knock up units around him. He's also really good against a team of melee frontliners. So like this scale scoring team is kind of being countered pretty hard by Jace because they all run up on the front line and then yeah, Jace does that and then he knocks them all up in the air and then he gets a huge shield as a result. So Jace is actually doing quite a bit of damage in these fights. He also has the Frozen Heart replacement item, the name I am forgetting at the moment. So that's making him more tanky as well. I probably would not have gone out of my way to make that item, but I did get it out of the guild emblem, so I was pretty happy with that. Okay, so now we've got one more carousel here. I'm on a big win streak. I was like, that person has 1 HP left. I think I just beat this person, but let's go ahead and take this. I was waiting to see if they would take the Shroud. I was kind of hoping they wouldn't. They did not take the Shroud. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the Zephyr here, and then I'll be able to get a drop-in Zephyr on the last round of combat. Now, they have made 3-star Diana. They have 3-star Diana, 3-star Nunu, 3-star Yone, and 6 scale score and 5 Cavalier. I mean, that feels really, really strong. They did not hit the 3-star Olaf, though, so I'm pretty happy with that. But my board is just absolutely shredding these people. None of these fights have been even remotely close. I haven't even talked that much about Zippy, who gets a ridiculous amount of stats for being 3-starred. Like, Zippy is really unkillable right now. But anyway, we're just going to place the drop-in Zephyr here. I'm going to try to hit that Nunu, which I think is one of the more dangerous units. And wait, what? The Zephyr didn't go through? Yeah, for some reason it didn't go through. I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I clicked there. Whatever, this game has known to have that bug, but it actually doesn't even end up mattering. Jace knocks up 6 people on the initial round, and Jace actually does the most damage. Yeah, not the Xayah, who has Infinity Edge, Last Whisper, Rageblade, not the 3-star Zippy. It's Jace that does the most damage, so he might be a little bit overtuned at the moment right now. But as I said, I am playing him with 8 guild, so he gets just absolutely insane stats. Well, in any case, this is a game that really came together. This one was a lot of fun to play, to get the 8 guild, to have the 3-star Zippy. Probably not going to have that happen too often, so bear in mind this was a pretty crazy high roll. In any case, though, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you're enjoying this early look at set 7.5 on the PBE. Until next time, take care, folks. Have a great week.